Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The California sun bathed Beverly Hills in dazzling light. The streets, lined with palm trees and imposing villas, seemed to reflect an almost unreal luxury. Charlotte Davis, 38, stepped out of her Tesla Model S Plaid, the fastest in her collection, with effortless elegance. Her outfit was impeccable, a tailored cream-colored suit, black patent leather pumps, and her Chanel bag carefully placed on her forearm. Every gesture exuded confidence and power. Charlotte was a well-known figure in the business world. Founder of Davis Tech, a technology company specializing in artificial intelligence, she had built an empire from scratch. Despite her success and wealth, she had never forgotten the hardships associated with her skin color and knew that every entry into a public place could be a test. Today, she had come to Sterling Motors, a dealership renowned for its rare luxury cars, hoping to see the latest electric Aston Martin model, which she had planned to buy. As soon as she stepped through the glass doors, a murmur rippled through the showroom. The salespeople, all white, exchanged worried glances. Derek, one of the most experienced salespeople but notoriously influenced by unconscious racial bias, narrowed his eyes when he saw Charlotte. His mind filled with irrational doubts. Why is this woman here? Can she really afford this car? Charlotte, aware of the stares, remained impassive. She walked past the displayed vehicles, her eyes shining with admiration for the new Aston Martin. She gently stroked the bodywork, and a small, satisfied smile appeared on her face. In her mind, she was preparing to buy it and already imagining the car parked in front of her loft in downtown Los Angeles. But the atmosphere was about to shift dramatically. Derek, nervous and filled with a mixture of prejudice and envy, rushed toward the driver's office. Charlotte sensed the tension in the air but continued to smile politely, still unaware of the shockwave that was about to follow. What she didn't know was that this simple act of admiring a car would trigger a chain of humiliating events that defied all logic, testing her patience, her dignity, and her strength. Charlotte Davis walked slowly through the Sterling Motors showroom, her heels clicking on the marble floor. She stopped in front of the latest electric Aston Martin, a limited edition model that was turning heads. Her hand brushed against the gleaming bodywork, and a satisfied smile spread across her face. That's when Derek, the white salesman, approached, his smile forced. "Hello, ma'am, can I help you?" he asked, his voice betraying unusual nervousness. Charlotte nodded politely. "Yes, I'd like to see the electric DBX model. I'm thinking of buying it today." Derek stiffened. His mind, invaded by unconscious prejudices, raced. How dare she touch those cars? Maybe she's trying to steal? Before he could think, Derek headed towards the concession security and muttered something about them. Two white, uniformed agents quickly approached Charlotte. "Madam, there has been a complaint regarding your presence here," said one of them, in an authoritative voice. Charlotte frowned in surprise. "A complaint? From whom?" "I'm a customer. I'm here to buy a car." But Derek insisted. I mean, it's for your safety. We need to verify your information." Before she could react, the police officers pulled out the handcuffs. "Madam, you are under arrest on suspicion of theft." Charlotte remained calm, her dark eyes sparkling with suppressed anger. "You must be joking." A murmur rippled through the showroom. Other shocked customers were filming the scene. Charlotte felt the humiliation rising within her, but she maintained an appearance of control. Her thoughts were clear. They don't know who I am. They'll regret this moment. As she was escorted outside, Derek mumbled inaudible apologies, while the police officers remained frozen, unaware that they had just made a monumental mistake. Charlotte, despite the injustice, walked straight ahead, ready to transform this humiliation into a comeback that would leave everyone speechless. Charlotte Davis was still handcuffed, being escorted to the sidewalk by the two police officers, while Derek stood to the side, sweating and unable to look directly at the scene. Customers were filming everything with their phones, some whispering, "But, she looks rich." Charlotte took a deep breath and pulled her phone out of her bag. In a calm but firm voice, she said, "Marcus, I'm going to need you here, right now." Just 3 minutes later, a black limousine pulled up in front of the showroom. The doors opened, and an elegant man stepped out. Marcus Bennett, 42, the respected CEO of Bennett Industries, walked forward with a natural authority. His presence instantly changed the atmosphere. "Hello," Marcus said in a calm but sharp voice. "Derek, what's going on here?" Derek, his hands trembling, stammered, I thought that she wouldn't." "What?" Marcus cut him off coldly. "You stopped a customer before even checking anything?" The police officers exchanged an embarrassed glance, realizing they had just made a huge mistake. Charlotte, ever calm, crossed her arms. "It seems some people here are confusing skin color with behavior." Marcus placed his hand on Charlotte's shoulder and said to the police officers, "I think you have a lot of explaining to do, and very little credibility to salvage." Derek, his face red with shame, murmured, I didn't know." Charlotte smiled gently, "Exactly. You didn't know who you were dealing with." The police officers released the handcuffs, and Charlotte retrieved her bag. She slowly turned her head toward Derek and said, "I'm going to buy this Aston Martin. And I want you to explain your behavior to your management and your customers." Derek froze, unable to reply. Charlotte and Marcus walked away toward the displayed car, each step reinforcing their silent victory. The murmurs in the showroom became whispers of respect tinged with shame. Everyone had witnessed the power of a wealthy and influential black woman, and the immediate consequence of misplaced prejudice. Charlotte Davis approached the displayed Aston Martin DBX, her smile cold but confident. Marcus Bennett was at her side, observing Derek and the police officers with an expression that mixed disdain and authority. "So, you're sure you want to continue your purchase despite this misunderstanding?" asked Marcus, almost amused. Charlotte nodded. "Absolutely. Their ignorance will not dictate my life." She took out her wallet and handed over the check for the price of the car. Derek, now unable to meet her gaze, stammered, Ma'am, it's..." Charlotte didn't let him speak. "You see, Derek, before judging someone, perhaps you should get to know the person." The police officers attempted a clumsy apology, but Marcus, implacable, interrupted them. "Your apologies are not enough. You have publicly humiliated someone who did nothing wrong. You will have to answer to your superiors and your conscience." Charlotte got into her new car, adjusting her sunglasses. She cast one last look at Derek and the police officers. "You've just lost your credibility, and I've just gained a new story to tell." A few days later, the story went viral on social media. Videos from the showroom, the handcuffs, and the stammered apologies were shared thousands of times. Charlotte released a stylish but firm statement. "Today, I was the victim of an unjust prejudice. But this experience reminds me that true power lies not in anger, but in self-control, dignity, and the ability to transform injustice into strength." The Sterling Motors dealership was forced to revise its staff onboarding and training procedures. Derek was transferred to an administrative position with no customer contact, while the police officers faced disciplinary action. Charlotte, for her part, resumed her life as if nothing had happened. But she knew that she had given a memorable lesson to all those who dared to judge before knowing. Power and wealth are nothing compared to ignorant arrogance, but combined with patience and intelligence, they become unstoppable. A few days after the incident, videos of Charlotte Davis's unjust arrest circulated widely on social media and news channels. The hashtags #JusticeForCharlotte and #SterlingMotors were trending everywhere, accompanied by outraged comments and messages of support. Charlotte, fully aware of the media impact, decided to speak out publicly. She drafted a concise, elegant, and incisive statement. "Today, I faced an injustice that could have humiliated me. But I chose to remain dignified and turn this incident into a lesson. Racism and prejudice don't simply disappear through fear or anger. They disappear when the truth is presented calmly, strongly, and with integrity." In the days that followed, Sterling Motors management summoned Derek and the officers involved. Derek was demoted and transferred to an administrative position, while the officers received formal warnings and mandatory training on bias and diversity. The case even became a case study in some management and customer service training seminars. Charlotte, for her part, resumed her routine with a newfound serenity. She proudly drove her Aston Martin DBX, a symbol of her victory and resilience. Every admiring glance in the street, every message of support she received, reinforced her conviction: humiliation only has power if one accepts submitting to it. What had begun as a public humiliation had transformed into a resounding triumph. Charlotte had not only demonstrated her authority and worth, but she had also exposed the arrogance and ignorance of those who thought they could diminish her. And as she drove under the Beverly Hills sun, with Marcus Bennett by her side, Charlotte smiled inwardly. Sometimes, true luxury is not money or cars, but the ability to transform injustice into a masterclass for the whole world.